Son, every man at this table had a wife at home, and every man knew she was untouchable. Carlo Gambino ran New York for 20 years, untouchable, because inside his family, the code never broke. Joseph Valachi broke Omertà before the Senate in 1963. His wife was never touched. The code protected her even after he betrayed it. He gave up names, operations, everything. But his wife walked free because the code was never about the man, it was about the family. This wasn't mercy, son. This wasn't love. It was architecture. A man who can't protect his house can't be trusted with anything.
The consigliere was the keeper of the code. He reminded every made man, your wife is your honor. Guard her or lose everything. Soldiers were stationed near the boss's home, not just for him, for her. Her presence was sacred ground. Everyone knew it. She cooked, she raised the children, she kept silence. In return, no one from the streets ever dared to lay a hand on her. At every sit-down, one rule was never debated. Touch a member's wife, you answer to the entire table. No pass, no mercy.
Albert Anastasia was the most feared man in New York, but even he never ordered a hit on a member's family. The code held him too. Word traveled fast on these streets. Disrespect a wife, and before morning you'd have a very serious problem. No second warning. On Sundays, he sat beside her in church. Same pew, every week. The neighborhood saw it. That image was part of the code too. She never ran from cameras. She walked, head up, because she understood her composure was the family's public armor, always. Joe Bonanno once said, "A man's honor starts at his front door." But what happened when someone dared to cross it? That story ends in blood.
When a new soldier was made, the boss told him one thing first. Not about money, not about territory, about his wife. Her name stays out of the streets, her face stays unknown, and nobody touches what is yours or what is mine. She could walk these streets alone, not because the neighborhood was safe, because every man on that block knew exactly who she was. She didn't ask where he went, she didn't ask when he'd return. That silence was her side of the code, and she honored it.
Rosalie Bonanno spent 40 years as a mob wife. She raised 6 children, she buried secrets, and the family never let the streets touch her. When a member stepped out of line with another man's wife, there was no trial, there was a meeting, and then there was silence. In 1959, a soldier from the Genovese family made that mistake. He didn't disappear quietly, he disappeared as a message. Nobody forgot. Even in death, the code held. The widow was protected, provided for, because her husband had been a man of honor. That debt never expired. The consigliere kept records, not just of money and territories, of families, of wives, of who was owed protection and who had earned it. At the table, he was a father, a husband. The streets didn't exist here, and that separation was the most important rule of all. Even a casual greeting on the street carried weight. Tipping your hat to a member's wife wasn't courtesy, it was acknowledgement of the code. They sat together in those courthouse halls, silent, composed, immovable. Not victims, guardians of the code their husbands lived and died by.
Every boss kept her photograph on his desk, not as sentiment, as a reminder. This is what the code protects. This is what you die for. Frank Costello, Prime Minister of the underworld, ran the Genovese family for decades. In all that time, not one member's wife was ever touched. Not one. The barbershop was neutral ground. Soldiers, capos, even rival associates all sat in that same chair.
and none of them ever discussed another man's wife, ever. When Valachi testified, he named bosses, capos, soldiers, he named everyone, but he never implicated a single wife, because even a rat understood women were outside the war. When Gambino capo Armand Rava was buried in 1957, his widow received a monthly envelope from the family for 11 years. No questions, no conditions. Code fulfilled.
In 1966, a Gambino associate was caught pursuing a capo's wife. Carlo Gambino didn't raise his voice. He looked at Della Croce. That look was the sentence. The associate was never seen again. No trial, no discussion, no body. In the Gambino family, that case was considered closed before it was ever opened. Neil Della Croce, Gambino's underboss, enforced the code personally. Soldiers knew if Della Croce came to your door asking about a woman, you didn't sleep that night.
Victoria Gotti walked those courthouse steps dozens of times. Never once did a rival family touch her. Not because they lacked the motive, because the code forbade it. Once, a consigliere at a Colombo family used to tell all the new soldiers the same thing. A man who chases after another man's wife is chasing after his own grave. Remember that, always. Victoria raised 5 children while John Gotti moved through the ranks at a Gambino family. She knew the code, she lived it, she never broke it.
Henry Hill also testified against the Lucchese family in 1980. He named everyone. But even Hill, a man who broke every rule, never gave up a member's wife. Some lines didn't cross. Joe Colombo brought his wife Lucille to St. Patrick's every Sunday. In public, she was his shield, his legitimacy, his proof that he was a man of honor. Even FBI analysts noted it in their reports. Mob wives were systematically kept outside operations, deliberately, structurally. The protection wasn't incidental, it was engineered. But in Las Vegas, 1979, one man decided the code didn't apply to him. His name was Tony Spilatro, and that decision cost him everything.
Frank Lefty Rosenthal ran 4 casinos for the Chicago outfit in Las Vegas: the Stardust, the Hacienda, the Fremont, the Marina. He was their most valuable asset. His wife was Jerry McGee, former showgirl at the Tropicana. Beautiful, volatile, and completely uncontrollable. The outfit tolerated her because Lefty was too valuable to lose. Tony Spilatro, the ant, was sent to Las Vegas to watch over Rosenthal and the street rackets. The outfit trusted him completely. That was their first mistake.
Spilatro began an affair with Jerry Rosenthal. Not once, not briefly, for years. He was sleeping with the wife of the man he was supposed to protect, inside the outfit's own operation. When boss Joey Ayupa heard about the affair, he didn't explode, he went quiet. In Chicago, quiet from Ayupa was the most dangerous sound in the world. The meeting lasted 20 minutes. Ayupa spoke, Jackie Cerrone agreed, the rest nodded. Tony Spilatro had violated the code at the highest level. The sentence required no debate.
On June 14, 1986, Tony and his brother Michael were told they were being promoted. Tony to capo, Michael to made member. They drove to a house in Bensonville, Illinois. In the basement, 15 outfit members were waiting, not for a promotion ceremony. According to mob turncoat Nicholas Calabrese, who testified at the 2007 Family Secrets trial, they were waiting to collect a debt. The brothers were beaten with fists and knees, no weapons, buried in their underwear, one on top of the other, in a cornfield near land owned by Ayupa himself. A farmer found them, thinking someone had buried a deer.
Tony Spilatro had power, connections, and the full backing of Chicago.
He had everything, and he threw it all away for a woman that wasn't his to want. The code doesn't negotiate, son. 4 casinos, 20 years of operation, hundreds of millions skimmed, all of it gone because one man decided the code was beneath him. The code was never beneath anyone. It was above everyone.
Not everyone gets to sit at this table, son. Most people watch from outside. You stayed until the end, which means you already understand something most men never will. If this code speaks to you, subscribe. Leave one word in the comments, Omertà. That's how I know you belong here. And ask yourself this, if you were in that room in 1986, whose side of the table would you have been sitting on?
Hit like, activate notifications, and share this with one man who needs to hear it. Next time, we open the dictionary, the real language of the table, words that separate the men who belong from the ones who are just visiting. Until next time, honor the code, son. Omertà.